everyone on my channel, if you're just tuning in, because I'm not usually on the podcast side of things or the talk show side of things. But everyone from Curliest Stream, hi, I am Pokepope. It's good to see you all again. Um, Variety content streamer, mainly a Pokemon fan. Snap came out this weekend, I know, and I just haven't had time to get it yet. Maybe we're gonna do something with that on Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure. I just haven't planned my week out at all. I never do. I should probably be an adult and be more proactive on that. But yeah, it's good to be back on Twitch after a couple months hiatus. I was super active in the Pokemon community. I'm a Switch player, PC, Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra. I like all my tabletop like card games. I'm a Warhammer fan. I want to play it more often, but I just never have time to. There's just a lot of stuff that I love.
Good enough for me. All right. Well, hello, Poke Stream.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's yeah. I am live. Hello, world. This is Curlia. She's been a really good friend of mine. Yes, she is French Canadian. She doesn't have the draw like I do sometimes, so that's why not all white people are from America. So Curlia, go ahead and tell my audience about you, and officially welcome to the Pokepoke channel.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, hi. I'm currently a variety streamer here on Twitch since November, I think. Into horror games lately, but they're kind of killing me inside, so I don't know. No.
I said I missed more of your gameplay on Little Night. Was it Little Nightmares you were playing?
Yeah, but now I started Soma, and that thing is freaking terrifying. It terrifies me. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the game. I'm like halfway done, and I have no idea how I can manage to finish this, but that's a problem for another day, isn't it?
Absolutely. But we do have something to look forward to this spooky season. You are more than welcome to join me on my month-long endeavor to beat horror games as fast as possible, completely blind. The last year I did Dead Space 1, 2, and 3, all
Oh
within the
my
frame of
god.
a month,
Oh
and that
my
was a lot of
god.
fun. That was a ton of fun. I forgot how bad Dead Space 3 is.
I have no
Um,
idea what this is, but I believe you.
you've never played a Dead Space title?
No, I haven't.
Oh, oh, we're probably just gonna play them again this year then. They're very good.
Okay.
Um, Alien Isolation too. I think I did that the year before. So last year was 2020. I did Dead Space trilogy. 2019 I did um, Outlast. I did Outlast 1 and 2
Okay.
over the holiday spooky season, and the year before that I was just getting my start at streaming, so I was actually over on Facebook streaming for a small card shop, and we were doing Halloween spooky themed Magic the Gathering decks, and then like Hearthstone as well. So that was fun.
Well, that's nice.
Since we're on the spooky topic today,
Yes, with our spooky podcast.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to hear what you got. I blabbed about mine a little bit earlier.
Well, today you are the star, Poke.
I am the star
This
today.
is your story, and I get to die listening to it. That's what I got.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. This was but yeah, I mean, if we're ready to rock and roll it, we could just jump into this. I am
I am
super
ready.
stoked
I am ready.
to tell the story about how a spooky witch almost killed me.
I cannot wait to hear that. Honestly, chat, this is gonna be a first for me too. I haven't heard the story because I didn't wanna uh fake reactions, and so I have no idea what's about to happen on my
All she knows about the story is I was not okay for quite a while after this.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're ready. We're ready to go
let's
here.
go.
All right. So I actually have to get the website pulled up for this, so I can keep myself on track with
No
where my story
worries.
is going. But for everybody in chat, hello, welcome back. It's good to see you. So for everyone in my chat, if you want to share the link with yours too, this is the link to the website where they host the tours and kind of showings of the Bell Witch story. And if you're from where I'm from in Middle Tennessee, you most likely know about Bell Witch and all of the spooky things that come about it. I did not. So when I went on this endeavor, it was something brand new to me. So just a quick backstory. I mean, I can just if I'm gonna be the highlight of this, we can just
Mhm.
give them all the story because it's actually super creepy. It's your typical witch story, but it goes a little something like this. The legend started with it was John Bell, a farmer from North Carolina, along with his wife and children, settled in North Robertson County, Tennessee in 1804. Their farm consisted of 320 acres of farmland. They lived a peaceful life for the first 13 years. They were a member of the Baptist church, and he became a deacon. In the late summer of 1817, something happened that changed their lives forever. Members of the family began seeing strange looking animals around the property. Late nights started hearing knocking sounds on the doors and outer walls of their cabin. Sounds were being heard throughout the house, and a rat gnawing on the bedpost. Chains being dragged up through the house, and stones being dropped on the wooden floors. Then there were gulping and choking sounds coming from the kitchens. Family was terrified, but kept the problem to themselves for over a year. John confided in a neighbor, James Johnson, who invited Mr. and Mrs. Johnson to spend the night. I guess kind of like to prove their point. After several nights of witnessing the strange phenomenons, Mr. Johnson suggested that more people should be told, and a committee was formed and an investigation was started. Not long before the people were coming from miles around to hear and witness the unseen force that was terrorizing the Bell home. When asked who and what it was, it gave different identities. It once stated it was the witch of a neighbor woman named Kate Batts. This many people believed, and from then on, the unseen force was called Kate or the Bell's Witch. It seemed that Kate had two main reasons for visiting the Bell home. Main one was to kill John Bell. For what reason, nobody knows, because Kate never gave any reason why. Second reason was stopping John's youngest daughter, Betsy, from marrying a certain neighbor boy named Joshua Gardner.
Okay, so wait, Kate. Kate has no like link to this family whatsoever from what we know now, right?
For right now, yes.
Okay.
It is. She is just a ghost that's like, I'm here to mess up your day.
Okay.
So that's
Salut
kind of where we're at.
Nice. Ça va bien toi? This
You're good.
podcast is about paranormal stories. So today is about the Bell Witch, which we just started like the base story of the Bell Witch, and then we're gonna hear what Poke has to say about it. So you're right on time. You're right on time. So we can keep going. So
Oh yeah,
Kate is knocking at
you didn't miss
windows,
much.
and we
Yeah,
don't know why yet.
we just got into the meat of the story.
Yeah.
So our paranormal is her name is Kate, also known as the Bell Witch. These are real documented stories that come from Middle Tennessee, a couple hours north of where I'm originally from. So we left off just at her main reasons as to why she was here at the Bell household. It was to either murder the man of the house, John Bell, or it was to prevent the youngest daughter from marrying one of the neighbor boys named Joshua Gardner. And that's pretty much where we're at. So it picks back up over the next 3 years. Kate, who we're giving her the name because we haven't got any information from her. So Kate, over the next 3 years or so, tormented members of the family almost daily. Um, John and the husband and the daughter received the most physical abuse. Betsy, who was the wife, had her hair pulled. She was pinched, scratched, poked with pins, and at some accounts, she was thrown to the floor and beaten. Uh, John began suffering spells of swelling of the throat, often had the feeling of a stick being stuck sideways in his throat. Twitching and jerking of facial muscles. Kate would blast him with curses and hideous threats during these spells. As time went on, John Bell became weaker and weaker. Kate was becoming well known and drew large crowds of people, seemed to be very intelligent in many things, including the Bible, people's past and future, as she could be in two places at the same time, miles apart from each other. So this was like, she was for real about her whatever grudge she's got going on with this family or this property.
It sounds like a bitch.
Kate sounds like a bitch. She was.
Yeah.
She was.
She's probably mad for something though, right? It can't be just like did she just prey on random people?
No, she's actually tied to the property. Which
Oh,
this is a synopsis of like a little bit of the legend behind it.
okay.
Um, but unfortunately, at the very end here, Kate is assumed to have finally accomplished her mission, being on the Bell farm on December 20th, 1820. John Bell did pass away. It was believed that he was poisoned by Kate, and Kate took full credit for his death. In March of 1821, young Betsy broke off her engagement with Joshua Gardner. Uh, Kate bid everyone farewell and promised to return in 7 years. She did return in 1828 for a few short weeks. During the visit, she came to the home of John Bell Jr. and had long talks with him about the past, present, and future. She made some predictions for the future, and Kate also said there was a reason for John Bell's death. However, she never said what the reason was. After the second visit, she said her next return would be in 107 years. That would have been in 1935. But some believe that Kate never left the area at all due to strange things that was occurring in and around the town of Adams and the Bell Witch Cave over the many years. Many books are written about the famous Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee, and the legend that is part of it is even taught in the schools around there to this day. It's such a huge like cultural part of that county.
I had no idea, but I do have a book somewhere, a pic of a book. I think it's this one. Yeah. This is one of like the creepy books they write about that witch, that so-called witch. I just look at the book and I get the bad vibes. I'm like, can't be good. This is not good. Sorry.
I know, yeah, just looking at this book, like, I mean, I wouldn't want to open this at all.
Ew, me neither.
And of
Me
course there's
neither.
whole I'm not gonna read the whole story because I feel like just narrating something for people is now that I actually say it out loud is probably why you tune into a podcast, is to have things narrated for you. Um, but this one is a bit of a lot. There is a lot to go over here. So I'm just going to drop the link in my chat to the Wikipedia for the Bell Witch. It's a really good story otherwise. I read over it before I went, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there up until my encounter, which we are going to get into now, which is a
Up
good
until
segue to
the
get into this.
encounter. Okay, so it's a good story when
Yes.
you actually don't meet the witch.
Oh, so yes, for everyone that gets to listen to this, not being in what you feel like the face of immediate danger is indeed splendid for you. Unfortunately, I don't believe me and the friends that I went with had as fortunate times because we actually partook in a little bit of late night shenanigans, and we were out one night just looking for something to do. We were bored, and we had wanted to go tour paranormal sites because we're college kids and we think whatever, it's just people telling ghost stories, it's cool. So we're like, okay, let's go ahead and look up some places. So everywhere we were looking for seemed kind of lame, and we're just like, this is fine. This is spooky. It's not like scary what we want. And then finally we came across this one, and we read the story, and we went to the Wikipedia and read it. We were just like, this is it. We're going to this place. We want to tour here, and they were just shut down for the season. They weren't taking any tourists in, and we're like super bummed out about it because we talked about it all week. And then one of my friends was like, let's just go anyways. I'm like, this is a very, very bad idea, but let's go.
It is a bad idea.
It
But
was a
like,
horrible idea.
do you know why they were closed for the season? Like, is there
I
any
think they were
reason?
just taking some time off because they do a lot of tourist stuff.
Okay.
So during that time, I believe they were just like, hey, let's get some time for us, and our family, and also anywhere that's hosting paranormal tours and stuff like that. They do have a great deal of respect for any lingering presences or spirits that are there, and they will often close down for points of time, um, not only to just pay respects for them, but also give the place time, because just
Yeah.
running people in and out of there all the time, um, the energy that you have there, or like what I've understood from a lot of things that talk about it, it's really good to just kind of let the place naturally recharge.
Okay. Makes sense.
Because yeah, I would get bored too if I was a ghost and people were coming in and out of everywhere, and I was just like, ooh, did I scare you? Okay, see y'all next year. Goodbye.
Oh my
Like
god.
that I would understand it. If I was a ghost, I would get tired of people's bullshit too. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
did you get your picture of me? No, because I'm dead. Joke's on you. Thanks for coming.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But how it all ended up was we eventually went, and it was late at night, and we thought it was just a location that was secluded, that you had like a tour guide take you through. It was like the people that live there now built their 21st century home on this known to be haunted land, with the original cabin that the Bells lived in, and all the original everything still there. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna drop a bunch of money and build a home right here. And those people, they have all sorts of stuff that goes on in their house, like things get knocked off, the banging, the scratching, like all the same stuff still goes on in their home.
You
Kudos to them. Kudos to you guys if somehow down the road somebody is ever like, oh, these two random people on Twitch did a podcast and they were talking about the Bell Witch, you should listen. Kudos to you guys. I appreciate you for being there. I am so sorry. I am so sorry I snuck onto your property, but we got what we deserved, because when we were on that property, we parked down the road and walked about a mile and a half to make it to the property, cut through the field, and as we were going through the field, me and one other friend there were immediately hit by like existential dread, and I just did not want to be there anymore. I was like, this is not good for me. We need to just turn around and go home right now.
did
But they were
you?
like, nah, like the property's right up here. No, of course we didn't. We were dumb. We were in college. We were freshmen. So I
Okay.
was like, okay, whatever, guys. Let's just go. Let's go. We get up there, feeling kind of goes away, and I'm like, maybe I'm just nervous because we're sneaking onto
Mm-hmm.
somebody's private property in Middle Tennessee, and they can just shoot us. Like, that was also another thing I was worried about.
Okay, that is not a thing here. I forgot that was a thing.
Oh, because
Um
you're in nice North America. I'm in, yeah. If farmland down here, they have a very, very broad stand your ground law, and it's just, if you're sneaking on somebody's property, and where I'm from especially, and you get shot or shot at, they're just gonna be like, what did you expect was going to happen when you snuck onto somebody's property? Like, oops.
that is
But these people
crazy.
also have a lot of money and are known for having a lot of money. So that's also, I would be very protective about that as well,
Mm,
if I was them.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. My little Canadian self Forgot that was a thing, but so you sneak onto the property. You may get shot. You may get attacked by a ghost, but you sneak in. Let's go.
Yes,
What
there's no good
happens?
way. Looking back on it now, there was absolutely zero good points to this endeavor at all. Um, I don't know why we did this again, but it was fun up till the end. So we get down and we kind of get around the cabin. So we're looking at the cabin and we're like, oh, it's like a real cabin. Like I thought it was just like maybe something they restored, but it's like just the original cabin. Like people built shit good. This was from, you know, the 1800s and it's just here chilling.
This one, right?
And
I pulled it
yeah,
up, I think.
so we're like looking at it all and again that feeling just sets in, but now it's on three of us. So there was five of us that went. But now that feeling comes back and it's on three of us and I'm just like I don't feel good about this again all of a sudden. And one of my friends that was with me, he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like it's back. I don't feel good." Like we had goosebumps. It was extremely cold that night, but everyone else was just like, "No, we're good." Um, and then finally, the third friend was like, "Yeah, I'm with them now." So now it's like 3 against 2, but the other
Okay.
two are very adamant about getting to the cave,
Okay.
and we're like, we're not going to leave you by yourselves up here. So
Yeah.
we're going to go with you. If we're in a group, maybe we can be like, hey, we just want to come see the cave. I'm sorry, you know, whatever. We can leave. Seemed a little less suspicious. Still not very good.
Yeah.
So we march on, and all the pictures that are on the website, you know, you can look through them and kind of see the areas that I'm talking about. So we get from the house, we get to the barn, um, and that's where things immediately started going south because typically when you see or hear when you see an animal you can hear the animal and
Yeah.
vice versa. If you hear an animal you can see the animal
Yeah.
sometimes or know where it's coming from. We started getting livestock noises
Oh, no,
from
no, no.
inside a completely empty barn, and I was immediately like, hey, um
That's not
it's go
okay.
time.
All
It's
right.
time to go. And we were of course dumb and young.
So did you go? Did you
We did.
leave?
We
Okay.
continued on.
Oh my god. Okay.
There
That
was no stopping the stupidity,
Oof,
no
that
matter
cabin
how
is
scared we
spooky.
got.
That cabin is really spooky, and this is the cave that we're talking about too. So you're marching to get to that cave, and you
We are
hear
continuing on.
animals that you cannot see because the barn is empty. And you're like, this is fine. We need to get to the cave.
Yeah, things are already starting to go south. 3 out of the 5 of us are experiencing chills, you know, just like huge waves of apathy and existential dread, and we're just like, w- the further we got in, I don't want to say the weaker of the 5 of us, but like probably not the one with the best mental fortitude was like turning around and was like, we're going to die, we're going to die, we're going to die. And I'm like, dude, it's okay, like we're scared, I get that, but like this is just part of the thrill. And he's just very adamant, like, no, we're about to die, we're about to die, and just keeps like mumbling that over and over and over. That
So
was red flag number 17 that we should have turned around.
So, do you think that he felt that way because of Kate? Like, probably, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because she
um
has this way of making people understand what she wants, and clearly she didn't want you guys there.
no, it was very clear we were not supposed to be there. But, you know, we're like, oh, these are just spooky feelings. We're just going to continue on with this.
Oh
So we
God.
march on, being dumb. We get to, and of course, again, more of these pictures. I didn't have time to grab everything. I really wish I would have because it would have made this story so much better had I like done a slideshow for it. And you know, maybe the next time we do well, the next time we do like a little talk show thing and we have a topic, which is going to be your turn next.
Oh God. Yes.
That's the real scary part of this is next week you have to host.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're continuing and continuing. And this is where everything starts to get blurry, because we started to go down trails, and it felt like it was just trail after trail after trail that kept leading to where the cave was,
Like you were
where the
just
Blair Witch
circling
was
around?
essentially imprisoned, which is why she haunts this place.
Okay, so she is
And
in prison
something,
within the cave.
yes, if you look on the website and you see the pictures of the cave, there are stockade iron bars
Oh,
at
I
the
didn't see
cave
that part.
entrance and a door. So
Okay.
that, like, literally locked her inside. And I left this part of the story out for this moment. The Blair Witch was actually the Blair Witch, the Bell Witch. Definitely, I
Yes.
wouldn't have gone anywhere near the Blair Witch. I would have immediately noped out. I'd have been, nope, you guys can go die. You can be eviscerated. I will show up to your funeral, but that is it. The Bell Witch actually lived on the property,
Yeah.
and her husband was the original owner of the land.
Okay.
He was swindled out of it by the Bell family that lives there now, generations back.
Okay.
And she cursed the family. And the original head of the family, and I believe one or two of his children, died. But then again, this was like way, way back. You know, you could get a splinter and die. But of course, people are dumb and they have to blame it on something like, oh, if you know, if back then if you died and you were on somebody died and you were unpopular, they could just blame it on you and
Yeah.
be like, that's it, you're done. So they were swindled out of their land. Because of that, they were forced into poverty. In their time of poverty, the husband passed away of Kate. Kate's husband passed away, who is our Bell Witch. She then took it upon herself and played my favorite card that anyone in any story can ever play, and that card is the, oh, if you think I'm the villain, I'm gonna be the villain. And
Okay.
she got deep, like up to here deep in like all the witchcraft she could. And so she's like, if you think I'm a witch, then I'm just gonna be a witch.
Okay.
And she cursed the family. You know, the crops started dying. Livestock was not doing well. They were butchering stuff, and the meat was tasting tainted, and all this and that. And at first, they thought it was just her messing with the crops, but then they like locked her up, and it all continued.
How do
So then they were
you
like,
lock up
"Oops."
a ghost, though?
Oh, this is when she was alive.
Okay, she was alive. Okay, okay.
Yes, she was alive. People are alive turn into ghosts.
No, she was
I
already
know.
dead.
Ghosts are just born from other ghosts and have ghost babies. That'd actually be pretty tight.
Okay, so they
Just a
locked
little
her up and
twisted.
she died in the cave then,
She
because...
did. She died in the cave. They had relocated her away from the family, or she had relocated herself away from the family to prove her point. And when witnesses from this other town were like, "No, she's here. Like, she hasn't left. She's still here." And they were like, "Well, these things keep happening." And so they thought she had an accomplice and all this and that. And it was this whole like, you know, 1800s investigation or
Yeah.
1700s 1800 investigation. And then they were like, okay, guys, we messed up. And they were like at the Bell family, and they're like, hey, do you think there's any way possible you could probably just be nice to her, and you know, because you did kind of cheat the husband out of the land, could you maybe like be nice to her and give her some chance to live and be a good human being? And the Bell family was just like, no, fuck that hoe.
Oh,
Fuck her.
they deserve this.
Yeah,
They,
they deserve it. Everything that
oh
goes
my
on there, they
god.
deserve it. So she, at that point, like cranked it up to 11.
Oh god.
Hi, Wolfie. Welcome to the stream.
Hey,
We're
Yellow
doing a spooky
Swag.
story.
How you doing? I'm good, thank you. Everybody be like, hey.
So when it got down to the nitty gritty of it, she cranked
Mhm.
everything up to 11.
Okay.
She was like, bubble, bubble, toil in. I'm about to wreck your entire life. Crops died, animals died, the stuff they had in the storehouses was like rotted. The family got sick, people in the town got sick. Like, she just went voodoo crazy on everybody. And that's when they were like, okay, we got to deal with this now. So, for whatever reason, they decided to put her in a cave on the property and lock her up
That
because they
how
thought
in
it
what
was gonna
world?
fix all their problems.
Yeah, like okay, she is. Thank you for the follow. She is like causing trouble and poisoning their crops and everything, and you're like, we're gonna lock her up on our property. This is gonna be fine. And Nightmare incoming for Curlia. Oh hell yeah! But like, in what world is that a good idea? In
I don't know.
I don't get it, honestly. This seems like a bad idea from the start.
It really was.
It is in mine. Why is it a good idea? I'm willing to discuss that. Y'all just don't know shit. Oh, shit. Oof, okay.
Y'all just don't know shit. Oh man. So I was saving this bit of spiteful information for what is soon to be the climax of this
Oh,
entire endeavor that we have all had.
yeah.
And I told you this part earlier. When we were taking our trip through these trails, and we were trying to get to the cave, we were like, we
Mm-hmm.
just want to see the cave. We just want to get to the cave and look at it and be like, okay, look, there it is. We saw it. We're going to go back.
Yeah.
Everybody was at their final straw. Uh,
Okay.
we were like, of course, we were like having to be quiet. So we're like arguing with each other and like whispering like aggressively towards each other. And we're like, we're just gonna go. Like, screw you. You can stay here. Like, and the others are like, I don't need you. Like, we're gonna go and get a picture of it, and we're gonna come back.
Okay, this is
Like,
survival.
so we're like mentally, all of us started unraveling at one point, and we were like at each other's throats, like
Okay.
fixing to fight. And we look up as
Mm-hmm.
we've gone down this trail, and I think we ended up in the worst possible position we could have been in because about 50 yards in front of us was the cave.
Yeah.
And directly like 10 feet behind us, as we turned around, was her actual tombstone, like her grave marker. So we had actually walked off the trail at one point because the trail takes you from like the cabin and it goes up and it comes here to like the cave, and then it takes you on this little nature hike all the way through this stuff, and then you end back up at the tombstone. Is like oh, here's her resting place, go
Yeah.
visit our gift shop. Like,
Yeah,
that's
like
how the
it's
tour
it's
ends.
just I'm looking at a picture of it right now and it's just sitting there. Like this is really creepy. So like
It's
if you're stuck in between the two, you're just at a horrible spot. Is this a real story or it's fictional for the podcast? No, it's Poke's story. He actually went there with friends when he was in college during the night at like 1 a.m., I believe, if I reckon
Yeah, it was like one
correctly.
o'clock in the morning. We went to do this. The property was closed. Um, we wanted to see it really badly, and we all ended up paying for this. So at the point that we were at there, we realized that we had like not even been on the trail for forever. And I looked at the guys that we were like following, who were like, oh yeah, we have the little site map pulled up on our phone, so we know the trail to take to get to the cave. Um, he was like, I was going exactly where this thing said to go. Um, and I'm just like, oh, you were following your phone? And he was like, no, I just knew, just go this way.
Oh
And
no. So she led you
I was
there.
like, yes, she absolutely was just leading us to the probably the worst spot on the entire property.
'Cause she's probably like I don't know that much about ghosts and haunting, but I feel like she would be more powerful there than far away from the place. Oh my god, yes, oh my god, indeed. I
No,
feel like
yeah,
she
it
would
was
be stronger there than anywhere else.
yeah, that was definitely the spot that we had come upon was pretty much close to the spot of no return, and it was super super unsettling by the time we got there. So at this point, the three of us that had been me myself included and the two others who had been like existential dread and exhaustion from like pretty much red flag number one, we were in full blown panic mode, and we're like,
Yeah,
we need to we need to turn around, we need to go right now.
yeah.
And of course, you know, me and friend number two were like, it's go time. So we're grabbing people, and he's built like me,
Okay.
and he's got one of the guys on his shoulder, and we're like marching. We're like, we're done here. It is time to go.
Aren't you like
Friend number
five people though? Like if you are both carrying someone, is the where's the other one?
Oh, no, no, no. I wasn't carrying anybody.
Okay.
I was turning around to book it. I was
Okay.
done
You were
at this
running for
point.
your life.
Yes. The two that were like our Boy Scouts, we're gonna call them. I'm avoiding using anyone's names
Yeah.
for posterity's sake. Um, better call the
Yeah.
Winchesters.
Better call the Winchester.
Um, so we get a little bit back up the trail, and I don't have a picture of it, but on the website, on the little banner up there that scrolls to the official home of the historic Bell Witch Cave, it flips by a couple times and it shows a picture of a stone wall um, sticking up out of the ground, which could have been like a property divider or something or another. Uh, but it's really, really not okay for me to look at this picture because this wall I remember is where it happened at. And the climax of all of this,
I don't see the wall.
it shows up a little bit through there. It's just on the banner for at the homepage.
Oh,
Um,
the like
it'll come
the
through.
in the cemetery? Oh no, wait.
It's
Uh,
like a wall and like there's a bunch of woods behind it, and like we're getting out of here. So at this point our Boy Scouts are like, okay, I think we're done. I think we're 100% done. We need to go. As we turn around and we're starting to leave, everyone came to an agreement the day after while we were talking this over. It became harder and harder the more steps we took away from that place to keep to keep going.
like
There were
it
points
was
in there were points in
calling
times where
you.
we were just like, we just want to sit down right here and not move until the sun comes up.
Oh,
And the property owners can come out here and they can see us sitting here and they can do whatever they want to us. But it was like every one of us had a feeling of we want to just sit down right here and not move. And that's it. At
okay.
this point, we started hearing dogs barking from the direction of the cave.
What?
Had not heard anything the rest of the night until this point. So we're turning and we're like, it's time to go. It is time to go. We start hearing dogs barking from the direction of the cave. So now we're like, it is really time to go. Everybody starts walking back up towards the road. We're getting past this stone wall right here, and I'm walking right next to one of my friends. And as we're marching at this point, because we're not running because we don't want to wake anybody up and we don't want to spook anything that might also be out there. I remember walking
Mm-hmm.
past this stone wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next thing I know, I'm on my back. And then I look up at my friend, And I'm like, I just tripped on something. What the hell? So he stops and turns around to pick me up, and he trips too. So I'm like, we were walking right behind everybody. How did nobody else trip on this stuff? And when we looked back, like, because I was on my back, so I'm looking the opposite direction now. He's getting up to help me up.
Yeah.
We froze for so long, staring at whatever blotted out the entire tombstone that was behind us. You couldn't see anything back that direction. The little glow from the little lamp they had down there at the cave, the tombstone that had a lantern next to it, you couldn't see anything.
Like
And
everything completely went
it
pitch
was like
black.
there was something standing there
Ugh.
directly in line with the tombstone and the cave all the way back.
Oh my god, I'm
And
having
we
chills.
laid there for it felt like hours that we were just there on the ground
You were like stuck
because
there.
yes, but when we finally were like, okay, yo, it's time to go, like we scampered up and sprinted off and caught back up with everybody. And I like patted him on the back and I was like, just run. And that's all we could say. We was like, just run. And we all just bolted, didn't stop till we got back to the car. Got in the car, drove on. And we're done and we're like getting back there. We stopped to get food because we're all exhausted. So we're like sitting in, I think it was Waffle House, and they're like, "Yeah, it was crazy, ha ha ha." But me and the friend that had that encounter, we're just like staring at our plates, like looking at each other, like, "Did you trip?" He was like, "No." "Did you trip?" I was like, "No." And this was the worst part was the guys turn around and they're sitting there eating and they're like, "Yo, are y'all okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's like, "Cause we were just walking and you know, we turned around and didn't see you guys. But we like fell right behind them." And they were like, "Yeah, we turned around and didn't even see you guys. And we didn't know where you went."
Oh my god. So that
And
is
they were like, maybe because we were the ones first that were like, "Yo, we want to leave, we want to leave, we want to leave."
yeah,
So they were like, maybe they just went on to the car.
yeah. And they
So they
kept
were like,
going
when
without
you
you.
they kept going on, they were like, We assumed that you guys just went ahead of us." But they were like, stopped and was like, turned around and was like, "Where are they?" They're like, they probably went ahead back to the car. They were scared. And it was right about the time they turned around and continued walking, we went sprinting past them. And that's when we found out they weren't scared because of us being like, "Yo, we need to run. We need to go right now."
Yeah.
They were scared because they had already assumed that we had left because they hadn't seen us.
Okay,
They
but
didn't see us trip and fall behind them. And they
you're
turned
telling
around and didn't
me
see us.
you tripped onto something that wasn't there, and then you completely like blanked out of wherever you were for we don't know how long. That is so
It
creepy.
was minutes. It was not even a full minute or two. But
Okay.
the time that we were there trapped in that
Yeah.
moment felt
Felt long for
like
you.
we felt like they had just walked off and left us, and we were
Yeah.
just like, we're stuck here. And
Yeah.
whatever that is had like completely surrounded us.
Oh, that
And
is so
when
creepy.
we had read that part of the story that I was going over earlier with the saying about how the Bell Witch
Hmm.
had uh been at multiple places at one time, because we went back and reread all of this. So, in the synopsis that I was giving earlier, talking about how people
Okay.
had made reportings of the Bell Witch being
Just
in
one
multiple places.
second. We have a question from my chat. So, were the people in the house freaked too, or they could have been chill people? From what I understand, it was not abandoned. The people that were living there were the people that were giving tours of the property, like a ghost tour.
Yes, they are descendants of the original Bell family that lived there. The Bell family that swindled the property away from Kate's husband.
And
They still live on that property.
I would never.
It
Clearly, that ghost hates all of the bells, and they just live there, and they make a living out of the ghost. Have you stopped a second to think about that? This is I could never. I would be so afraid to die every day of my life. Phasmal sanity too low. Oh yeah, that is insane. Oh, that is insane. That is insane.
yeah, it was definitely a Phasmo sanity too low
Oh,
moment,
oh
but
yeah,
that's when we kind of pieced together at that point that we had thought of, like, we looked back and we were trying to find the gravestone marker to understand. We wanted to walk away from the gravestone, but when we looked back to see it, we couldn't see it or the light or anything. So she had been there, blocking that view from us, but also was on the other side of us, between our friends, blocking our view
yeah,
of them and their view of us. So they
yeah.
were like, "Oh, we didn't see you guys." When we had departed, that way we were all heading back up that way. That we thought that you guys had just went ahead of us, and it was super dark. We didn't see you.
Hmm.
So that's what freaked them out when we came running up behind them and sprinted past them, and we're like, "Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go."
Yeah, because
So
then they figured
that
like,
was we
oh
pieced it
shit.
together over a couple days of all of us talking about it, and we were like, "Oh, she was there." And she wanted it to be made very clearly to the two of us, me and my friend, who she had, I guess, been attached on since we showed up.
Yeah,
And because we were the first two to feel that we don't need to be here.
yeah.
Um, you know,
But
sorry to say, you got to go. Happy haunting. Thanks for coming in, Pedal. I appreciate seeing you here. But yeah, that was, we ended it at Waffle House like every good college freshman 3 a.m. night ends. And yeah, from that point on, I was kind of like, I think ghosts are real, man.
so, do you know like at what time you arrived and what time you left? Like, how long were you on the property? Do you
we
know
were on the
that?
we were on the property for 2 hours.
2 hours.
It felt like 30 minutes. It felt like we were there, went to the cave, and then we're sprinting back to the car.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that was, I don't want to do that again. And then they were like, we got back to the car, we checked our phones. We left all our phones in the car.
Yeah.
We didn't want them ringing on accident or anything. So we were like, we were there for 2 hours, wandering around in the dark next to a cave of a witch.
So you
And
have no flashlight. You have no way to communicate to the
we
world,
had
and
we
you
had we had some flashlights. We had some very
okay.
dim flashlights.
But you're disconnected with the whole wide world, and you go in a haunted property in the middle of
Oh
the
yeah,
night.
zero communication to the outside world. But where
Okay.
we're at in Tennessee, anyways, if we were to call anybody, it was going to take them an entire horror movie's length to come to us. So like,
Yeah.
it would have been like the typical horror movie where the phone call is placed at the beginning of the movie, and the movie
Yeah.
is the entire investigation,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, they were already dead at the beginning of the movie, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be like that. I don't want that to be my story. I don't want to be Saul 9.
Do you think
But
do you think she wanted to kill you that night?
100%, 100%.
So
I believe if we hadn't been in the group that we had, I 100% believe that would have been completely negative.
so um what made you stay alive, you think? Like, how did she not manage to kill you? Because
I think
you've
because
given her chances.
I think because there was two of us there. I think it was
Okay.
because me and my buddy were right next to each other, and we kind of like picked each other up, and we're like, yeah, come on, man, it's time to go. It's time to go.
Okay. Okay. That is insanely creepy. Insanely
But
creepy. I'm having chills.
I
Uh,
I get them anytime I think about it, or I go back to like the thoughts of that night. I still get chills thinking about it.
yeah. Yeah.
But that's how I know it's like authentic and like what we experienced that night. And I'll message him sometime and just be like, Bell Witch. And he'll be like, shut the hell up.
This is not a funny joke. Salut Maclo, comment ça va? But like she gave you so many red flags though, but
No,
I get that
I
it's
do
easier sitting in my
I
room
do
to
believe most of them in the beginning were very um, they were very respectful. Big red flags. The apathy, the existential dread, the not wanting to be here at all kind of feeling.
yeah.
Um,
She was like, stay off.
yeah, she was like, you really need to not be here right now. And, thinking back on it, I don't think that was all her. It could have also possibly been spirits of the Bell family that had passed away there,
Like trying to protect the property.
trying to be like, hey, we really don't want you. What you're doing is what you're doing is fucking stupid. You need to stop right now.
Yeah.
And I kind of look back at it now as it wasn't completely her. It was just the Bell family trying to reach out to us that those were going to listen and be like, hey, y'all need to turn around. Y'all don't need to be here. And we also came to the conclusion that it was Kate who had obviously like got a hold of our Boy Scouts and pulled us into that predicament where she would be the strongest influence, which was between the tombstone and the cave.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally where she was more powerful. So she kind of lured you there, probably. Hard to not believe in paranormal after an experience like that. Damn. Yeah, it probably like changed your whole perspective of paranormal, this event.
Oh, 100%. There's a lot of things in life that no matter what walk you come from, they are just harder to innately understand until you've experienced it. And I have had, because I'm from old farm country, and there are a lot of uh, paranormal like activity that happens um, on properties that are just generational, and it's not a negative thing for them to happen. It's just people that move on
Mhm.
from that era are so invested in their land. They're so invested in their land. They're so invested in their families, um, and just they tend to want to be around for that. And so it's not always negative when it comes to things like this, but I've seen and heard some stuff before, but I was just kind of like, whatever. It's a ghost. It's fine. But to be in that situation really kind of drove the nail home, where I was like, okay, uh, these things are real and these things need to be respected. Like,
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
was definitely not my best night ever.
Clearly it wasn't. Clearly I don't know how you managed to like go through the whole thing. I would have had a nervous breakdown for sure. Like I'm just sitting here in my comfortable apartment like there's
Yeah,
nothing scary here and you're telling me this and I am scared for my life and like I'm just sitting here showing pictures over the internet. Like
even the pictures though, like
the
I
pictures
hate to
are
admit it,
creepy.
even the pictures are just horrifying.
Yes. And you saw those pictures before going because you read the whole wiki page about Kate, right?
Yeah, it's just like on the website page, just looking at like pictures of the cave and stuff it's unsettling to think that somebody was like locked in there. And this is like 15 miles worth of cave too, like that goes underground and branches off. So
15
like,
miles. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
but it's been marked as like a historic landmark. It's on the National Historic Registry.
Okay. So what does that
So
mean?
this means it is a nationally recognized place with enough in the United States. It is a nationally recognized landmark that has enough history, um, records,
Mhm.
and proof that everything that they talk about here is real and documented, and were like actual historical events. So like
Okay.
that is like the U.S. Uh, history buffs going through years of documents and years of reports and being like, okay, this is legit. We can put a stamp on this, like stamp of approval. This place is haunted.
This is crazy. This is
So
crazy.
kind of like the new meme. It would kind of be like when we were darting out, we were just kind of like sprinting back to everybody, and we were just like, "Hey, cave's haunted," and we were just booking it.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
if a place is bona fide haunted, chat, please don't fuck with it. Please respect the
Please,
dead
please
people.
refrain and please be safe out there. Going
Absolutely,
into certify certify haunted place in the middle of the night may
absolutely.
not be a good idea.
If you sneak onto certified haunted property, be expected to get fucked up. That's just the baseline for all of this. Um,
Lesson learned. Good.
lesson learned. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Poke had to go through this to teach you guys not to do it.
See, aren't you guys happy that I went through that? Aren't you guys happy for my trauma?
I mean, it certainly makes a good story, but I wouldn't go through it just for the story. Nope, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, it was. Gosh, it's
Dreadful.
so bad to really just think about.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that story.